everything is priced in. So there's this concept in finance with pricing in. So basically with stocks and options and basically any financial derivative, like people are always like, I want to pick my stock, I want to buy this, and I think it's gonna go up, right? I don't, you wouldn't buy something if you think it's gonna go down in value, at least not unless it's like a car or whatever like liability asset class or whatever it is, right? Um, there's a problem with this, right? You're wrong. You are always wrong. You're basically making a bet and saying that you are smarter than the entire effective amalgamation and mass of the market. And while that might be true for like you could realistically be smarter than like 99% of people. Like why not? Like because most other people are also just like kind of gambling. They're just like buying assets and being like, yeah, like I think this will go up, like number will go up. But it's also rigged. Like, you know what I mean? There's like hedge fund quants. There's like people like literally Jeffrey Epstein who will effectively buy order flow, see who's buying at any given time, and then just move the market. So not only is your information not really valuable in any way because you're just buying off intuition, you're also just having the market move against other like in other people's price action direction. So it's like there's no point in assuming that the market's going to move in your favor because it just won't. It just won't. Like if it does, it means you got lucky. And I know this is really hard for a lot of people to wrap their head around because people are still day trading. People in the big 2026 people day trade. And I've come to realize that some of them do actually win. I think a very select few percent of them do actually turn over profit. It's not like a lot in the grand majority of cases. It's a very small amount when you consider how expensive day trading is. You are spending like hundreds of hours, looking at markets, aggregating data, doing research, which is basically just scrolling through Twitter. Um, so you're putting in all these man hours, and then you're pulling in all this data, right? And then your wins are just going to get taxed, right? There's like ways to get around it, right? You can like funnel your money through like a C corp or whatever like tax loophole they have, but it's like at the end of the day, your wins are getting taxed. There's not a ton of ways to avoid that. They're going to get taxed. Even the largest like prop firms end up paying some effective tax rate. They still turn over profit, obviously, because they're good at what they do, but it's it's just really ridiculous to me that people don't understand how pricing in works. Um, if you want to like watch other videos about this, there's this guy, Benjamin Finance, who makes videos about people on Wall Street bets. Those are really funny because it's just people that basically would just gamble with their life savings on like high volatility options trades. And these are just really funny. But I want to like extrapolate this and talk about just the greater market because people are always talking about how like just major in this will change your life. Just like take this class, get this job, do this, and they'll make you more. And this is like especially bad on social media because it's always just like this will get you here faster than anywhere else, right? The so-called get rich quick scheme and all of its derivatives. The problem with this is that it breaks market rules. It breaks the very law of everything being priced in. Because like imagine like you want someone to like mow your lawn, right? How much are you gonna pay for that? You're gonna pay like 20 bucks, right? And then there's like a spread of how much you're gonna pay, right? Maybe you're gonna be an asshole, maybe you're gonna pay like 10, maybe you're gonna pay like 5 bucks, maybe you're gonna pay 15, you know you know what I mean? And then the upper limit is like just depending, it's not gonna be more than like a couple $100, right? But there's some type of spread. And that's everything, right? That's how markets work. A lot of HFT traders, they make their money off of profiting off of this spread and buying at the bottom of the spread and selling at the top of the spread at millions of times per second, whatever. But the problem is like people do not acknowledge that this is just how markets work. People price things according to what they at least perceive them to be worth. So again, you're assuming somebody else knows something that you don't, which is dumb because they realistically don't. I mean, I have my own like career decisions and whatever decisions I make about my own life to for getting ahead, so to speak. But it's like it's so dumb. Everyone has their own philosophy. It's like, oh, do something you're passionate about. It'll be easier to get better at, and if you're better at something, you'll progress more. You'll make more money and whatever. That was really good water. Okay. The thing about this is that it's all bullshit, right? I don't know. I think what like really like drove this point home for me is because I was watching a video about like college degrees and how they drive up value. Because this is a big thing, right? You get a college degree, and depending on what degree it is, it'll drive up your earning potential. Statistically speaking, like when you aggregate the data of people's earning potential, like before you get a college degree, you make what do you make? Like something like 40K. After you get a degree, you make something like 70K, right? This is very ballpark numbers, but you drove up that earning potential. But if you just like ignore that whole concept, this was like this is a video comparing blue collar like employability. It was like imagine if you didn't go to college. Imagine if you just worked that 4 years. If you compare people's earning potential over their entire career, they make the same amount of money. So everyone's always like, "Oh yeah, you like need to go to college and you'll make more money. You'll be so much more." But this is just like this isn't how financial markets work. You know what I mean? Like the market prices in your potential to generate value as someone with an education. But this was all money you invested into yourself to make yourself more desirable in the workforce. And this is by no means an argument to not get an education. Like by all means, like get an education. Like you can like not everybody wants to be an electrician. I think very few people want to work a blue collar job. But I'm just saying like people pretend like this is like the cheat code to building like infinite wealth when in fact you are just taking value from elsewhere, usually some form of like borrowed money or the taxpayer, which why would you not take advantage of that? It's nice. I go to a state school, so you're taking money that you're already going to pay in taxes or someone else paid in taxes or whatever, and it's investing it into yourself and your future. So it's like, yeah, do that. Why the heck not? But it's just people do not like understand this that everything is priced in this market. It's always just like hey, like this secret hack, it's like, oh, they're paying $7 billion per second. And it's like, yeah, like there's gonna be labor shortages and all these things. It's yeah, but it's like ultimately like I think people fail to realize like a lot of stuff really is just like luck. Like the things you enjoy, that's gonna come down to luck. The things you're good at, that's kind of gonna come down to luck. And it's like I don't know. I think about this a lot with like Jensen Huang. He is like literally the I don't know. He's not like a trillionaire, but he's like the billionaire of like all billionaires right now, because he has the semiconductor company. He's basically selling the shovels of the AI gold rush, right? But that was never his goal. And I mean, by all means, he would have he put in the work, right? He started his company from nothing or whatever. I look up to him, but it was never his goal to start like a generational AI company. Nvidia was like a semiconductor company and it was a gaming company. Everyone who grew up in gaming knows that Nvidia was a gaming company first and foremost. It just so happens that all of the hardware that you use to render computer graphics was for a while it was very good at mining crypto, and now this embarrassingly parallel architecture, as they call it so to speak, is incredibly good for processing AI workloads. And you can't, you know what I mean? Like Jensen Huang put in this work, and everybody at NVIDIA, everyone who joined NVIDIA and was fascinated by the technology and wanted to work in this field, put in the work. But they also just got incredibly lucky that their innovations just so happened to line up perfectly with what the market needed for the next, 20 years, or I don't know. I mean, we're still kind of on the entry end of this hype cycle. What has it been, like 5 years or something? But it's just, I don't know. A lot of it really is just like positioning or whatever. And maybe you don't need me to tell you like that a lot of this is just like luck of the draw or whatever. And it's like, who knows? Who knows, man? It's really ridiculous to me. Like, because everyone just assumes their information is so good. Or they just see other people and they're just like, oh, I have the secret hack. And it's really easy, I guess, because everyone, like, a lot of people are very lost, right? Everyone's very lost nowadays. We live in very uncertain times, but you can't just assume someone else has better information than you. Especially because most of these people, like, if someone does have better information than you, they're not just going to give it away. They're going to keep it to themselves and they're going to use it. At least that's what I do most of the time. Unless I have a reason to give it away, you know what I mean, or I don't really benefit from holding it. But I don't know. Because for a while I was very fascinated by get rich quick schemes, because I would just watch them and I was like, I don't know how anyone is falling for this, and I would almost get tempted by them, but it's like it was almost compulsory. But now I'm just like, I don't know. I've gotten to this point where you see something thousands and thousands of times, and you're just like, like this is just how the market is. This is some Adam Smith Wealth of Nations. Like this is, you know what I mean? Like people price things. This is what we assign value to things. Um, Nobody is going to assign more value to something than what it's worth, contrary to popular belief. And you can see this everywhere once you start looking for it. So yeah, I don't know. I think that's my rant over. About Probably gonna have about one view on this. All right, thanks. Goodbye. Play Fortnite and get your materials. Bye.